Guy shot up an entire 4th of July parade and nothing changed.
What's up, man? So, I want to say first off, this isn't meant to combat any of the points made in this video, but I did want to shed some light on some things with the former half, not so much the latter half about Uvalde, right? I can't really speak on Uvalde too much because I don't have as much information as I do for the Highland Park incident, the one on July 4th. But there has been legislation, that has been passed with some very interesting caveats. Now, Highland Park, Chicago, all that kind of operates on a lot of the rest of Illinois, right? Like, people have wanted home rule from Chicago for a while, like different laws in different places. A lot of Illinois has rural aspects to it, and a lot of them are like hunting culture, stuff like that, right? So I'll pull up some of these laws, and I'm just going to read this verbatim. So, on January 10th, 2023, Governor Pritzker, Democrat, signed HB 5471, or the Protect Illinois Communities Act, into law. This law makes it unlawful to deliver, sell, or purchase, or cause to be delivered, possessed, or sold by purchase, or purchased by another, an assault weapon attachment, 50 caliber rifle or 50 caliber cartridge. It makes it unlawful for any person to knowingly possess an assault weapon, 50 caliber rifle, or 50 caliber cartridge 300 days after the effective date of the amendatory act, except the possession of weapons registered with the Illinois State Police in the time provided. An assault weapon is defined as, okay, and I'll just break here for a second. I don't like the term assault weapon. It's a shitty catch-all term, but here they're actually going to describe it, right? So it's good that we have some clarity here. Any rifle that has a belt-fed ammunition system or which has a detachable magazine capable of holding more than 10 rounds of ammunition. B, a semi-automatic rifle that has the ability to accept a detachable magazine and has any of the following. Section 1. Folding or telescoping stock. And 2. A shroud that has attached to or partially or completely encircles the barrel that permits the shooter to hold a firearm with the non-trigger hand without being burned. Now, to me, what that is like a handrail, a hand guard. Shroud is a weird word there because I always equate shrouds with like cloth, but it's more concise wording on what assault rifles are. And what this is pretty much talking about is the AR-15 platform. This is just verbatim, like classic things of that. But I'll get to the third portion of assault weapon, which is a semi-automatic pistol that has the ability to accept a detachable magazine and has any of the following. Section 1, folding or telescoping sight. A shroud attached to partially encircles the barrel that permits the shooter to hold the firearm with the non-trigger hand without being burned. A manufactured weight of 50 ounces or more when the pistol is loaded. So this is the thing that got people upset, right? Because firearms don't typically have those traits, right? And what it's trying to do is trying to ban short-barreled rifles, which the ATF is already having issues with, and like people who have like AR pistols, right? The AR is dependent on if it's a rifle, dependent on its barrel length. So if you have a short, it's considered a pistol. So this is trying to encapsulate that too. Now, these things have high amounts of like damage and everything, but people are obviously fighting back against it, right? And I have my own opinions that I'm going to keep out of the discussion and conversation because it doesn't help just to talk about these things if I'm going to be playing devil's or angel's advocate, right? And then the next section talks about a semi-automatic rifle fired with a fixed magazine that has a capacity to accept more than 10 rounds of ammunition. This is where the hunters got pissed. Because this is just like, there's a lot of hunting rifles that fall under this category that people were not happy with. And there's a reason I keep coming back to that point. And Section E, a semi-automatic shotgun that has a folding or telescoping stock, contains ammunition in a revolving cylinder, a fixed magazine capacity in excess of 5 rounds of ammunition, except that may be authorized under the Wildlife Code and excluding magazine extensions during snow geese conservation order season. I'm not a hunter. I don't know. An ability to accept a detachable magazine with more than 5 rounds of ammunition. Now, this one got people pissed because of home invasion. Shotguns are great at home defense. And people have very visceral reactions when you're taking away ways of them to defend themselves directly, less so on the AR platforms. But here's the next section. There are several ongoing federal and state court cases challenging this assault weapons ban. The state cases that the block of the state of Illinois from enforcing the assault weapons ban only impact the plaintiffs named in the lawsuits. However, on February 14th, 2023, a federal judge ruled that a city ordinance banning the sale of assault weapons in Naperville can be enforced by law enforcement. On February 24th, the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Illinois consolidated 4 court cases challenging the assault weapons ban. One of the cases was transferred from state court to federal court. Oral arguments have been scheduled for April 12th. On March 3rd, a Macon County judge declared the ban unconstitutional, setting up a direct appeal to the Illinois Supreme Court. In response to the Macon County ruling, Illinois Supreme Court has agreed to fast-track the state's appeal. Oral arguments have been scheduled for May. Likewise, on March 7th, in response to federal judge ruling in Naperville in February, the attorneys filed a motion with the U.S. 7th Court of Appeals asking to issue an injunction forbidding any police or government agency from enforcing the ban. This is where this all comes to head. So, on January 11th, so the one day after this took effect, in Kankakee County, which is south, a press release from Sheriff Mike Downey was put out regarding the House Bill 5471, the one in question. January 11th, Kankakee, Illinois. As a sheriff, I wanted to give citizens of Kankakee County an update on the recent passage of the Protect Illinois Community Act bill. As your duly elected sheriff, it is my sworn office. As your duly elected sheriff, my job and office are sworn, in fact, to protect the citizens of Kankakee County. It's a job and a responsibility I take with the utmost seriousness. Part of my duties that I accepted upon being sworn into this office was to protect the rights of all of us in the Constitution. One of those enumerated rights of the people is to keep and bear arms provided under the Second Amendment. The right to keep and bear arms for the defense of life, liberty, and property is regarded as inalienable to the people. I, among others, believe that this bill is a violation. Therefore, as custodian of jail and chief law enforcement officials, neither myself nor my office will be checking to ensure lawful gun owners register their weapons with the state, and nor will we be arresting or housing law-abiding individuals that we have decided are non-compliant with this act. I've got about a minute left. I was trying to get all that as concise as I could, trying to quote it. There are changes being made on an individual level, and there are changes being resisted. So it's just going to be a slow thing for whatever you want, whether our points of views agree on the issue or how to resolve it. But just know that there are things being done, and if you happen to listen to this whole 10-minute rant or whatever, hopefully this helped bring a little bit of information to you and maybe some peace of mind. Thank you.